Are you tired of your Project Zomboid server list looking a little vanilla? How about we fix that? We're going to go through a few mods, and then I'm going to have to go through and try to explain why doing the extra model maps doesn't quite work on multiplayer, because you can't really manipulate the spawn Lua. But yes, if you want your game to look like this instead of this, especially on Nitrado, yeah, I would prefer to do this on G Portal, because it's a lot more friendly at doing this stuff. It's a lot less intensive to do it. But most of the people who are watching are using Nitrado, this horrible service that only gives you 4 people to play on the map. So let's get started with this. And to prove that it works, let's go ahead and spawn at a place that isn't on the map. We'll do March Ridge. I could have cut all this stuff out, but I'm also a jerk. And I love trolling the people who are like, this is a video that took 10 minutes, it could have been 30 seconds. Hey, jackasses. Alright, let's move on to it. So let's see. I've spawned in. And let's move this over. And let's look at the map. Oh, looky here. I did spawn in the right location. Now, I do have another mod installed. Jesus Christ. I do have another mod installed. Oh, I'm not an admin. Ooh, boy. Probably gonna have to fix that. So, let's go in and figure this out. So, in order to get all those maps to show up and get all that stuff to work, you're gonna have to do a few things. First thing you're really gonna have to do is go into your config files, and you're gonna have to add some stuff. So, be ready. So you're gonna go to spawn regions. So I'm gonna put this in the description so you don't have to do it yourself. But these 2 maps are default maps, but Nitrado, when they set up the server, it was before these 2 maps were default. So you'd need no mods to make these work. So if you just add this to it, instead of only having Muldraugh and West Point, you will have Rosewood and Riverside. So all these ones are mods. All of these. I had to cut a couple of the extra modal parts out of the equation, because they were causing an error that would just spawn you in the middle of the ocean. Even though, like, if it just put you a little bit further over, you would have spawned on land. And I don't know what's going on. At first, I had it spawning you at the at one of the off-map locations, and it fills out the map pretty well. A lot of unnamed towns that I have no freaking idea what the name of the town are, and they're not on the map. So where we're gonna go is what you're actually gonna need to do to add these maps to this. The first mod I'm going to talk about is more spawns. This is the thing that actually blew up most of them. It is a mod. This is all the stuff you have to add to the map. It is a mod that adds all these spawn points, and all you have to do is just add your workshop ID and your mod ID. Simple enough? Is that good enough for you? Moving on. Next one I want to talk about is a extension mod. It's called Chernberg. Now, if I were to not have the other map mods on and I just threw this on, it would just say random. I've tried to figure out how to get it not to say random, and once I get done with this part of the video, I'm gonna reset the entire server anyways to try to figure out how to get it done. I think I figured it out, but I'm running into an error because I think there's a conflicting thing with both of the mods, so I can probably either have one or the other, but I cannot have both Very ridiculous stuff. But the mod community in this game is kind of crazy. So this mod requires a couple of mods because it's offshore. It requires this mod right here. This adds a lot of items and a lot of things to the game, which is good. And it's the build 41 version. It's good for multiplayer. Second one you're going to need is the Yacht Club one. It's needed because you're stuck on an island. You won't be able to get back. You can't swim back. So that's why the boats exist. This will adversely affect the map by making boats spawn all over the place. You can take them to the water and all the rest of that stuff. You know, cool stuff, right? And a couple of honorable mentions that I haven't been able to figure out how to get to work without bricking the server again or not making the server come back up is the Twiggy's Revamp mod. So you can actually spawn inside of the bar. And apparently it's got some expansion stuff, but I also couldn't get it to work with all the rest of the mods I had. There's the freighter, which allows you to board a ship and live off of this ship. And there is Rabbit Hash. I don't know why this one won't work. I have it on a bunch of stuff. I can't get the spawn to pop up. Really causes a lot of issues. I'm guessing maybe this might not be correct. It might be spaced out and have like the apostrophe, but I don't know that for sure. And nobody said anything about it. So maybe I'm the wrong. So let's look into a couple of other things. So I'm going to try to reset the server. Oh, and by the way, probably should show this before I go ahead and start resetting stuff. So we already have this established, and you know where to put the mods. If you've watched any of the videos I have previously, you know that the best way to do the mods is go to config file, and then line 55 is mods, and where it asks you to put the map stuff, you're going to put all the maps that you have before this. The only way to get it to work, or else you'll just spawn in the middle of the wilderness because the map isn't going to load up. The last map has to be the original map. I still have this map on here, and I still have Twiggy's Revamp. It's still there, but a lot of crazy stuff. So, and then the last thing that you need to know is the workshop line is right here. This is where you put the workshop IDs. You just save it and do all the rest of that stuff. So I'll be right back with movie magic. So like I was saying, whenever you try to install that mod, you get this right here. It will only say random. I've tried everything to get it to not say random. Let me show you what I've done. So if you go into your config files and you look at the spawn regions, I've added that map to this point, and I added the routing that you need to get to it into the filing. What I did was I went ahead and let's go here, went into Zomboid, as you saw, media, and after that I go into maps. Alright, so all these folders existed prior to this. As you see, this is me doing this today. This is the one I added, and I added a spawn lua, which should allow me to make a customized spawn point. All right, good. Let's see what happens. So let's go ahead and spawn in. Just gonna make a random character. I don't know why it always tries to make me into some little old lady. I don't get it. Those are all the things I did to try to make it so you could actually just spawn there. I added a couple locations in there, but apparently it's really hard to do. So I just spawned at this gas station. A really random spot, right? I know where this is, but it's definitely not where I'm supposed to spawn. Alright, so yep, look at that. So here's where I spawned at one point in time, but with an actual in-game character. This is supposed to be water. This is not water. This is a fucking prison. It's a fucking prison. And I don't know why. It's crazy. But yeah. I don't think this is even supposed to be here. I think this is just a construct that comes with the mod. Right? I could walk up these steps and all this other stuff. Well, maybe I can. Okay, that was crazy. These steps lead nowhere? Yeah, they don't lead anywhere. Crazy. Alright. And let's go to the next point. So, up here. We'll spawn right here. Bloop. And this is the churn. I don't know how to say the map, but this is the actual expansion spot. Right? There's zombies here. There's a bunch of other stuff. The mod is on the map, but I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to get the spawns to work properly. I mean, I spent, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, mostly like 4, maybe 5 days trying to figure out how to do this, and I am completely stumped. I know that you can. Here's the weird part about it. If you hit random spawn enough times, you will spawn over here. It just happens. But like, I cannot figure out how to make the spawn locations work properly. And I'll tell you this, I've done a lot of stuff, right? I've tried modifying the, let me go into this. Let me get out of this real quick. I've tried modifying spawn locations that will pop up like this. So just go back to main menu stuff. I think it's easier just go back to here and then just explode back out. So here's spawn points. This is where this is where it will make you spawn if you're trying to do the twiggy stuff. I've added stuff right here because if you know the coordinates, you can control where you're spawning. The problem is it takes away everybody's ability to spawn anywhere. That's not what you want to do. The most optimal thing that you can do is just figure out how to get the map to pop up as a random spawn location, is like a little Easter egg, or just travel to the location on the map with a boat. You can do it. I believe in you. Sorry this video is so long, but there's a lot of working parts and there's not a lot of information out there. So the only way I'm going to learn about how to fix this situation is to do trial and error. And I had to get a video out because people keep asking me about this. So this is as far as I can go in showing you how to add maps to the thing. Just know that even though I'm having trouble getting the spawn luas to work, when you add the map mods to it and you put the maps in the folder for maps, you will have them. The only problem I've had are the shelter mods. Those are the things that took me a long time. I spent an entire week trying to figure out how to get the shelter mods to pop up, only to get it to let me spawn in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to work on that. There's going to be another video coming. Hopefully it's not going to be 15 minutes long like this one is. But I'm out. Later.